Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here on Wednesday, September 20th, 2017 at 14:35. No. That's 14:35 Eastern Time, and it's 19:35 British Summer Time. I'm in my hotel room at the George and Abbotsford Hotel on the High Street in Melrose, Scotland, the United Kingdom. This is a very, very pleasant hotel. The staff is very friendly and very, they go out of their way to help you and everything. The food that I've seen looks really, really good, and certainly the breakfast that they cooked this morning for us was also very, very good. Bacon, sausage, black pudding, fried bread, mushrooms, tomatoes, baked beans, great stuff. And really strong coffee, which is always nice. This is my red wine, and no, it's not dilute because it's actual good wine from France that, at least as long as Britain's still in the European Union, you can buy really cheap over here. This bottle in the United States would have been around $16. It was £7.50 here, which is probably around $9 US. I bought it at the co-op store, which I finally found. I knew there had to be some place you could buy groceries in this town. And I thought, well, Joe, why don't you just look on Google Maps and ask them for grocery stores? So I did. But today is not what I want to really talk about, because I'm going to talk about that in some other videos. Today I want to tell you about September 18th and September 19th, which basically was getting here. Liz and I went out to the Columbus airport around 2 o'clock to have lunch before I had to go through security. And we had lunch at Max and Irma's, and I always have the Reuben sandwich, which is sort of my gold standard, here's how I check out a place, order the Reuben sandwich. And it was very, very good. Every bit as good as the Red Door Taverns out on Fifth Avenue, although I'd probably still give the edge to the Red Door Tavern because I've been there, and theirs has always been consistent over the last 30 years. I think this is the first time I've had this at Max and Irma's. Be that as it may, it was quite good. Liz had the fish and chips, and I think I had what did I have for beer? I had just a standard Sam Adams Boston Lager, and she had a Sam Adams Oktoberfest. And so then I went through security, and I had everything out ready to go anyway. I mean, so I didn't have to sort of stand at the head of the line when you got there to take off your shoes and things. I pulled my computer out, pulled the liquids out, put the computer in one tray, stuck everything else in another tray, stuck the suitcase in another tray. And there wasn't really any problem, except you have to sort of get dressed again after the process. The problem was that my flight from Columbus to Newark, New Jersey was delayed, and then it was delayed again. It was supposed to leave at 18:35. Then it was going to leave at 19:55. And then it was maybe 20:30, Well, obviously Joe's not going to get to Newark in time to make his connecting flight from Newark to Edinburgh. I was sort of shell-shocked about this for a moment. And then I asked the gate agent, is there anything you can do about this? Because clearly I'm not going to make it. There's no way they're going to hold that flight for, an hour and a half, 2 hours, for one passenger to get there. He clicked around and clicked around and clicked around. And he says, well, there's a flight leaving, going to Chicago right now, basically, in about 20 minutes. And then in Chicago, you can get a flight from Chicago to London Heathrow. And then London Heathrow, you get a flight from London Heathrow to Edinburgh. So that's what I ended up doing. And in reality, I only arrived about 5 hours later than what I would have arrived, anyway, had everything gone according to the original plan. Except I had to go through Heathrow. Which means that when you go from Terminal 2 to Terminal 5, you have to go through security again, which means you have to get undressed again. Well, I was wearing my jogger, camo jogger pants, so I didn't have to horse around with a belt or anything. So, and they weren't going to fall down there around my ass, when you take off your belt. But I had to take my shoes off, and I didn't think I had to take my shoes off, so I didn't pre-take them off. So I had to sort of fumble around there and go through, and they actually pulled my liquids and stuff out of my bag and swabbed them down. They painting these things and seeing if it changed color and stuff. It's some Axe body wash, guys, and some hand sanitizer, and some mouthwash, So the flight over was on a it was on a 767, which is I like the 767, and so that went very well. None of these guys did a carrier type crash, crash onto the runway type landing like some of these guys do. Except, walking through Heathrow, it's just, that is one long walk. Even with the little, moving walkways that you can kind of, walk along and increase your pace a bit. It's one long walk. Plus you're going up and down all these escalators. It's not like it's all flat. It's like you're going up, you go down, up, you go down. And I thought for a moment there I wasn't even going to have to go through passport control. And one guy's, I said, I said to him, I haven't been passed through passport control yet because I didn't see it, in the other place. They said I was going to pass it before, and I didn't see it. He asked me some questions about, this and that. He said, he said, you're fine. Just go over there. And I went over there, and the guy, and he asked me basically, pretty much what I was going to do my entire trip. But he seemed to like my answers, so he stamped my passport. So I got to Edinburgh and actually didn't have too much trouble running this car. I had called them to let them know I was going to be, I called them from Heathrow and telling them I was going to be late. And in fact, already it was 2 hours late when I called them because there's no way to call them before because they don't answer the phone at night. They don't answer the phone after about 8 o'clock at night and their time. And so I called them as soon as I could, but didn't prove to be a problem. And it's a Fiat 500 with standard transmission. And indeed, the guy did try to upsell me. He tried to sell me a bigger car with an automatic transmission, with a diesel engine and a navigation system on board. And I said, no, this tiny little thing's fine for me. and my phone's okay for navigating. Well, it is if it can get a decent signal in the city. Uh, it got confused on the way out of Edinburgh, and so I ended up and took this took about an hour and a half. I ended up actually going in a gigantic circle, and not around the ring road either. Just a series of things that seem plausible because of the way they indicate, where you're going. I mean, nothing is to just one direction. It's to a direction, but they show you either end of the direction in terms of where you can go. It is really it. I've never gotten used to that, and it just confuses me to death. But eventually, I realized I was back sort of where I had started, and then what I had to do to not do that again. Actually, how that happened was I decided, well, I may as well just go back to the airport and start over. Because I'd seen a sign for the airport, the little airport picture, plane thing. And then everything became all right very, very quickly. And this beautiful drive down the A7 through some of the most beautiful countryside I've ever seen. It's just spectacular. And I imagine that there has to be probably about 80 billion fatal wrecks on that road because people just are driving past you. They're passing you. This is a 2-lane road, by the way, too. This isn't like a 4-lane motorway type road. I was trying to, not hold up traffic, but there's places that you just can't safely drive over about 45. And I got, found, the signs to get to Melrose were adequate, and found this place without too much trouble. So I finally checked in at, I think it was around just about 6 o'clock in the evening. After starting from the airport around maybe 3:45, something like that. Now you understand this is only about a 47-mile drive. That's how long it took. So that was my day, but arrived safely by the grace of God. Nobody clicked off, nobody hit my wing mirrors. I only hit the curb once, and that not really hard. I kept telling myself, you've got to drive out to this, you've got to drive almost right on that center line. And I don't like to do that, but that's the only way you can keep from hitting those fucking curbs they've got everywhere over here. So I'll say bye-bye, YouTubers. I'll tell you about the saga of the Wi-Fi in another video.